Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum students. Welcome to Army Public School online sport program round 2. Here is Miss Sundas Jabeen, your physics teacher. We are working on chapter number 4 named as turning effect of forces. Our today's topics are equilibrium, first condition of equilibrium and second condition of equilibrium. After this lecture, we will be able to understand the concept about equilibrium, conditions of equilibrium, first condition of equilibrium and second condition of equilibrium. So, we will start from the topic equilibrium. What is equilibrium? Equilibrium is generally known as the state of balance. A body is said to be in equilibrium if no net force acting on it. Just like you look in the diagram, that in this diagram two forces acting on it. First one is weight force and the second one is reaction force. Both forces are equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. As a result, no net force acting on it. That's why these books are equilibrium on the table. Next point is conditions of equilibrium. There are two conditions of equilibrium. First condition of equilibrium and second condition of equilibrium. So, what is first condition of equilibrium? First condition of equilibrium relates with the summation of forces, that all the forces acting on a body will be zero. Generally, we can say that a body is said to satisfy first condition of equilibrium if the result of all the forces acting on it is zero. It means that there is no chance to apply only one or single force. So many forces will be acted on one body, but the summation of all the forces will be zero. Then we can say that the body is in equilibrium. This is a common example of first condition of equilibrium, that a thread held with a ball tacked with a wall. Two type of forces will be acting on that body. One is tension force and the second one is weight of the object. Both of the forces will be equal in magnitude but both are opposite in direction. That's why they cancel out the effect of each other and the body will be in equilibrium. Our next and main topic is second condition of equilibrium. The second condition of equilibrium relates with torque. Torque is the turning effect of forces. Basically, second condition of equilibrium relates with the rotation of a body. The second condition for equilibrium states that if an object is in rotational equilibrium, the net torque acting on it about any axis must be zero. It means that the turning effect of forces will be zero at any point. Then the body will be in equilibrium, and we can say that here second condition of equilibrium is fulfilled. Next question arises that why there is a need of second condition of equilibrium. If first condition of equilibrium satisfy, then why there is a need of second condition of equilibrium? The answer is so simple, that two equal but opposite forces acting on different lines of action rotates the body, although first condition is fulfilled but body is still moving. Thus, we need another condition of equilibrium. The second condition necessary to achieve equilibrium involves avoiding accelerated rotation. Next point is application of second condition of equilibrium. In which situations second condition of equilibrium will be implemented? First one is seesaw, in paddling the boat, in support in the oil rig, support in large cranes, and for construction purposes. These are all the applications of second condition of equilibrium. Next, second condition of equilibrium implements the leaning of ladder. At what minimum angle can the ladder lean without slipping? The second condition of equilibrium will answer this question, that at what angle does the turning effect will be zero and the ladder will be stable at that point, or we can say that it is in equilibrium. Next, we will solve example relevant to this topic. So look at example 4.6. A uniform rod of length 1.5 meter is placed over a wedge at 0.5 meter from its one end. A force of 100 Newton is applied at one end of its ends near the wedge to keep it horizontal. Find the weight of the rod and the reaction of the wedge. Here we are asked about two types of forces will be find out. First one is weight of the rod and the second one is reaction of the wedge. So we will start it from our given data, that is force which is equals to 100 Newton. The distance from point O to A, that is 0.5 meter, and the distance from AG which is equals to BG, and both are equal to 0.75 meter. We can also say that OG equals to AG minus OA, which is equals to 0.75 meter minus 0.5 meter, which is equals to 0.25 meter. Students, you will note down that all these values will be given in the diagram. You must write these values from the diagram given above with the question. We should find out the weight of the rod and reaction force. So we will find out firstly the weight of the rod by applying second condition of equilibrium, which is equals to summation of torque equals to 0. Here there is no exact value of torque over there, so we will make an equation relevant to torque from our given data, which is equals to F into OA plus R into O minus W into OG, which is equals to 0. By putting all the values given in the given data and in the diagram, we can find out the value of weight over there. Now we should find the reaction of wedge. We can find out through first condition of equilibrium that summation of y equals to 0. Now only summation of fx will be applied here. These forces will be reaction force, the given force, and the force of weight of the body. By putting all the values in this equation, we can calculate the reaction of wedge, which is equals to 300 Newton. Now we will solve quick quiz relevant to this topic. Here note down the question, that is a ladder leaning at a wall as shown in figure is in equilibrium how? A ladder leaning at the wall will be in equilibrium because there are three types of forces acting on it. First one is the weight of the ladder, second one is the reaction at the wall, and the third one will be the reaction at the ground. As the ground is rough and all the forces passes through the same point, so we can say that the body will be in equilibrium. The next question is the weight of the letter in figure produces an anti-clockwise torque. The ball pushes the letter at its top and thus produces a clockwise torque. Does the letter satisfy second condition of equilibrium? Yes, the letter satisfies second condition of equilibrium because the anti-clockwise torque will be cancelled out through the clockwise torque produced by it. So the resultant torque will be equals to 0. Our next question is, does the speed of a ceiling fan go on increasing all the time? No, the speed of a ceiling fan does not go on increasing all the time, but the fan will move with constant speed. The next question will be, does the fan satisfy second condition of equilibrium when rotating with uniform speed? Yes, a rotating ceiling fan satisfies second condition of equilibrium because ceiling fan rotating at constant speed is in equilibrium, and as a net torque acting on it will be equals to 0. So the summation of all the torque acting on it equals to 0, and it is related with the second condition of equilibrium. Now some review questions relevant to second condition of equilibrium. First question will be 4.8, that is, why there is a need of second condition of equilibrium if a body satisfies first condition of equilibrium. Same question that we have discussed before, that why there is a need of second condition of equilibrium. This question will be related from that topic, so we will go through it again from the case 1, that first condition for equilibrium does not ensure that a body is in equilibrium. Consider a body pulled by the forces F1 and F2. The two forces are equal but opposite to each other. Both are acting along the same line, hence their resultant will be 0. Now, thus first condition of equilibrium will be satisfied. But if we shift the location of forces as shown in figure B, in this situation the body is not in equilibrium, although the first condition of equilibrium is still satisfied, that all the forces acting on it will be 0, but there are some tendency to rotate. That's why a body satisfies second condition of equilibrium when the resultant of torque acting on it will be equals to 0. Our next question is 4.9, that is, what is second condition for equilibrium? Already discussed before that the second condition of equilibrium relates with the torque, that is, a body satisfies second condition of equilibrium when the resultant torque acting on it equals to 0. Now we will move on towards our next question, that is 4.10, which is equals to, give an example of moving body which is in equilibrium. That a body is in equilibrium, then how we can say that the body will be moving? The answer is a car moving with uniform velocity on a level road and an aeroplane flying in the air with uniform velocity are the example of bodies in equilibrium. Another example is a paratrooper coming down with terminal velocity also to satisfy first condition of equilibrium. Then we can say that the bodies are in equilibrium. So a car moving with uniform velocity and a paratrooper will be the examples of a moving body which is in equilibrium. Now we will move on towards our next question, that is 4.11. Think of a body which is at rest but is not in equilibrium. Rest implies stationary and equilibrium implies a resultant of forces will be 0. Therefore, a body is in equilibrium could be moving. For example, a skydiver at a terminal velocity where resistive forces are equal to the force of gravity. This means that A body can be in equilibrium and not at rest, but a body at rest must be in equilibrium, otherwise it moves. So the answer of this question is it is impossible. It is impossible for a body to be at rest but not in equilibrium. Now moving on towards our next question 4.12. Why a body cannot be in equilibrium due to single force acting on it? No, with only a single force present, the body would accelerate infinitely in the direction of that forces, because the force which is alone applied will have some direction and object will try to move in this direction under its influence. However, if two opposite forces take part, it gives rise to a null vector force. The body can be rotational equilibrium under the impact of a single force, or we can generally examine it through our daily life, that if we push or pull a book towards us by applying only a single force, then the body will be not in equilibrium. The book will not be in equilibrium until the summation of all the forces will be equals to 0. Now some numerical problem relevant to today's topic. First question will be 4.9, that is, a nut has tightened by a force of 200 Newton using 10 cm long spanner. What length of a spanner is required to loosen the same nut with the 150 Newton force? Here two things are given, that is force 1, force 2, and the second thing is length. Force 1 will be 200 Newton, force 2 will be 150 Newton, and the length will be 10 centimeter. We will convert centimeter into meter by dividing 10 to 100, and the value will be 0.1 meter. Now we will implement second condition of equilibrium, or we can use law of conservation of momentum, that is torque 1 equals to torque 2. Torque 1 implies force into length at point 1, and torque 2 will be force into displacement or length at point 2. Now by putting the values of force F1, F2 and L1, we can determine the value of L2, that is 13.3 centimeter. Now our next question will be 4.10, that is, a block of mass 10 kg is suspended at a distance 20 cm from the center of a uniform bar 1 meter long. What force is required to balance it at its center of gravity by applying the force at the other end of the bar? Now we will move on towards our given data, that is mass of the block, which is equals to 10 kg, length of the bar, which is equals to 1 meter, moment arm of weight 1, which is equals to L1, and which is equals to 20 centimeter. As usual, we will convert 20 centimeter into meter, which is equals to 0.2 meter, and moment arm of W2, which is equals to L2, and its value is 50 centimeter, which is equals to 0.5 meter. We are required to find out the force that is required to balance the bar F2. Now by applying principle of moment, which is equals to clockwise movement equals to anti-clockwise movement, just like in previous numerical, torque 1 equals to torque 2. Now force into length equals to force into length along both sides. Here F1 is not given. We will find out through our basic formula, that is F is equals to mg. By putting the value of m and g, we can find out the value of F1. Now by solving this and adding all the given data, we can find out the value of F2, which is equals to 40 Newton. That's all from my side, students. Now note down your home task. Do it on your loose sheets. Thank you.